And welcome to another edition of Freshly Pressed here on Smooth Breakfast. Because it's a Friday, a feel good Friday at that for the show. It's the Tech Friday edition, which we all look forward to from that first day of the week, Monday, right up until now.
Yes,
Here we
it
are.
is. And in the next 15 minutes, let's talk some of the big, tech stories. It's a feel good Friday, and we'd like to bring you those big stories in the world of technology. And we have a guest right now joining us.
Yes, now today we have got Elendu Uche, who's a co-founder and chief operating officer of Appzone. Elendu Uche, hello, welcome to the
Good
show. How are you?
morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
Great to have you on the show because we've got a ton of questions for you and a lot of news actually that's been coming up, especially when it comes to things like blockchain technology and all sorts. Okay, so first thing is first. We can't start without the congratulations. Actually, no, first thing is first. We need to tell you guys how to join the conversation.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we're already streaming live up on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. And all you need to do is leave your comments up on the live stream.
All right. And you can also send us a message on WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. It's Business Express. You already know it, Ido. We see your message. Keep sending those messages across to us on WhatsApp. We're a family. We love it. And we love to read from you as the show progresses up until the end of the show, very much later at 6:45 and up until, 10 o'clock today.
All right. Oh, did I? Thank you so much for that. Business Express, Business Express.
Business Express, that's it.
And by the way, we are taking your tweets on Twitter as well. Just tag us at Smooth981FM. We'll be able to see your messages. Okay, so like I was saying before, first things first, congratulations are in order because Appzone won an Excellence in Blockchain Technology Award. This was at the 2022 Africa FinTech Summit. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Wow.
thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
now you developed a blockchain platform for payment processing. How does this all work?
Okay, so what we did basically was to create a system, right, that would basically process transactions between financial institutions, right? Just for some context, the existing systems today you have that banks use, right? They work, but they have their own issues, and some of the issues that you're very familiar with is the issue of dispute claims. Where you do a transaction, there's a problem, you notify your bank. Sometimes you're surprised why it takes 2, 3, 4 days for them to resolve it, right? That's because, so that's because the way the system works, the banks always have to engage, contact the central system, right? Whoever it is that process that transaction, maybe in search or names, Now, and that's because it is the central authority that has that data. But with blockchain, what we've done is leveraging blockchain. Whenever a transaction happens through the platform, every institution is aware, the institution rather is aware of what happened to that transaction, and they don't need to contact us or any central authority to resolve, the issue. So that basically makes transaction processing much more efficient. Yeah, exactly. It freezes and makes it much more efficient. And of course, improves the customer experience, right? Making everyone happy. Ultimately,
because let's speaking about customer experience, right? The complaint is as I'm spending the money, the alerts are coming in real quick. The debits are coming in. But as soon as I need to get some money back, then it's radio silence.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea is leveraging this tech, it changes that, right? So you expect experience to be better, the transaction process will be faster, and also reliability, right? Because the blockchain is a large network, right? It's no longer dependent on just one organization, maybe us, the switch. Yes.
All right, let's talk about some of the latest tech news. Of course, Microsoft announced employment opportunities for fresh graduates from African countries, right, as they search for software engineers. In fact, I'd like you to talk about this. Are you worried about the brain drain going on here from Africa? Or should Microsoft talent search be celebrated, really?
Well, so it's bittersweet, right? So for tech founders, like you rightly said, yes, tech founders, you'll be a bit concerned, right? Because tech talent, believe it or not, tech talent is really, really a thing, an issue right now, right? Finding the right talent is a thing. You had investors, basically pouring money into the space, and they expect to see traction. And of course, to execute, you need the right talent. Now, if you have Microsoft coming to take the talent we have, then the question is, So what happens to us, right? So yes, it's bittersweet. However, in the end, it's progress for the entire ecosystem, because I guess what tends to happen is it's more opportunity for everyone, especially for those software engineers up and coming. It creates more space for others trying to get into the space, right? So I guess what I would say really, and what we've had to do is just adjust to it, really. We have to just adjust to it, and up our game in terms of training, up and coming talent, right? Because there's talent everywhere. That's the truth, right? It's just you don't have equal opportunity, right? Yeah. So I think the upside here is it creates more opportunity for up and coming talent, right? So in the end, well, long term is a win-win for everyone.
Long term, it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I explain why. So typically, when talent leaves, right, works for Microsoft, especially if it's remote, what would happen is
this one they're saying you should be open to relocating.
Yeah. So when I say long term, right, that's really, really long term. Nigeria is a big country, right? In the short term, yes, it's not something like I said, it's bittersweet. But long term, what happens is that the bulk of Nigerian talent actually gets international exposure, right? And ultimately, those guys, maybe 10, 15 years down the line, would actually look to come back into the country, right? Hopefully things get better, right? And you would see another wave of explosion, right, of new technology companies and fintechs being created. So I'm taking there's a short-term view, which is harmful, but the long-term view really is it will be beneficial, and that's the truth.
Okay, so another question that we're staying here for a little while because I'm real interested in how you guys are dealing with this. Does this then make companies like yours feel a little bit like, how do you feel? What's the if we look at that kind of attractiveness of all of these Microsofts and co, how do you deal with that? Or do you just see yourselves as, okay, yes, this is a training ground, so the people that we get, we're gonna train them up and use them while we got them before they go? Or what's your take on it?
So our take is you can't really match them pay for pay, right? You know the kind of offers they give. Those are really, very, really, really good offers. However, there are other ways. Yeah, but there are other ways, right? So you've touched on one. Training is something we have to do. We've always done that, especially at Appzone, right? We would have to just keep doing that. However, we still have to find ways to retain talent, right? And for startups, for example, there are opportunities like you could actually just allow those engineers to become, long-term partners, right, in that startup. Yeah. Actually, various stock options. Of course, that's typically reserved for, the top talent, top 1%, right? And I think, a lot of startups are doing that, right? More those that haven't are also starting to do that, right? And with that, you're able to retain talent. You'll be able to keep some of them. It's not guaranteed to keep all, right? But for those that have a long-term view of wealth building and wealth generation, then it works. Yeah.
Nice one. Okay, now I just want to get your thoughts on whether or not there are tech jobs available for Africans to earn dollars whilst working for foreign companies and then living at home.
Exactly, here in Nigeria.
I'm sure the answer to that is pretty obvious. Yes, definitely. There is, right? And that's how this actually started, right? The relocation thing started as, you could work from Lagos, right? You could work from your home, and I think, and interestingly, I know someone asked me, during the pandemic, 2020 all through, how did you guys fare? And I was like, I know for people in tech, right, there was sort of like a boom, right? Because all of a sudden, tech firms abroad realized, either way there's lockdown, right? So who says you can't recruit talent anywhere else in the world, right?
Because that was where this narrative started coming up, right? During the lockdown, suddenly everybody was remote working and earning in dollars.
Yes.
And now we see people are shorting the naira.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the pandemic forced them to actually more tech companies outside the country to do that and test run it and realize, whoa, this thing works, right? And now you're hearing relocation. So yeah, it does. And that's how this trend started.
Okay. We've already got messages coming in.
Yes, we've got some coming in. Now, Ikabulu has this one. Adjust to what? marketplace, it's not a win-win for anyone. Maybe for those in the tech space, what happens to the system, till they are back? Sorry, if they are back, which we know they're not coming back except their respective village people decide to go on overdrive. I lead a team of engineers, and trust me, it's difficult getting folks to fill the space Jackpot has created.
Yeah. So I think this stance, I think, is one of my own contrarian views, right? And as I said, it's contrarian, right? And I am aware of that. And I would like you to look at a lot of the growth that happened in some of the countries like China, for example, right? You're aware that not all of that talent that has created the boom you experience are all local, right? You had cases of some of these Asians that had worked in other countries, right? Working with the best minds in the US, best minds in Europe, right? Coming back to contribute. And which is why I said, yes, in the short term, it is not good for us, definitely, right? And I said, but you have to look at the short-term view and the long term. So yes, I know it's difficult, right? But I know that there are a lot of talented people, right, that are coming up, right, and need just itching for an opportunity, right? And I think without this, we have to double down and train. We have to double down really to, train, create opportunities for those that are coming up, right? It's a problem we're already faced with. We just have to find a way out of it and look at the silver lining, really. You can't solve it in the short term, right? That's a more long-term problem to solve.
So I'd like to get your thoughts, on the regulatory environment for tech firms across Africa. And, I'll just read a quote from Bolt. It says, Bolt has no choice but to mitigate against the losses in the market until it sees a considerable improvement in the regulatory ecosystem. What do you guys, make of that, bearing in mind that here in Lagos, the hailing services, especially motorcycles, they were halted, they were stopped for a bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. So I think what is happening is regulators are beginning to pay attention to tech firms. There was a phase where regulators really didn't care. They were more, into the traditional businesses, right? Brick and mortar businesses they were used to taxing. And I guess seeing the boom in tech, most people, tech-driven businesses, and most of them are beginning to look at it. I think we're at a phase where regulators are looking at those businesses through the lens of, the same lens they use when looking at brick and mortar businesses, right? There's still a lot of learning that is happening, right? Especially in other spaces. In financial services, right, I think they've had a head start, and regulators are really, learning a lot. And you can see that in Nigeria, right? I think there's definitely room to learn. They need to actually come down and really look at these businesses and not as brick and mortar businesses, right? Also, I think regulator engagement to also accelerate that learning process. Regulator engagement is key. If we stakeholders in the tech industry engage regulators, right, we would basically, bring them on the same footing. And I think would basically have a better understanding, right, of what is good for the ecosystem and good for the economy in the long term, right? So yeah, and regulator engagement is necessary because some regulator education still needs to happen.
Okay, but are we gonna, considering what happened in Tanzania with Uber and then Uber pulling out, then Bolt having to mitigate its losses, as they said, do we see that kind of thing happening maybe in the future in Nigeria with our ride-hailing services? So
I think Nigeria has already had its own, the initial wave that came in Nigeria, new regulation around ride-hailing, tax, and co. So Nigeria has had that, and I think that I saw that triggered a lot of engagement happening with regulators, right? Yes, there's a lot of engagement, conversation happening with regulators when that happened, right, in Nigeria. I think, and what I'm beginning to see is, I think the Nigerian regulators are a bit more ahead, more mature. There's improvement happening, yes.
And I had to be on the good list.
Yeah, so there's a lot of improvement happening, and so I can't speak to ride hailing specifically in Nigeria, but I can speak to fintech. I can tell you that CBN engagements, amongst fintechs has increased tremendously, right? Just compared to say 2, 3 years ago, right? They create, when they're trying to do stuff, they sort of actually go out of the way to set up forums and invite fintechs to actually come in, and say, this is what we're trying to do. What do you guys think, right? So from that standpoint, it is improving, right? I think that I wouldn't expect something to happen in the industry without the financial regulator right now in Nigeria to engage fintechs. So,
all right then.
Yeah.
Well, so that is that for the show. So I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Elendu Uche, who's the co-founder and COO of Appzone, and recent award winner. So we're now looking forward to reversal of payments quickly, please.
Yes, most definitely. Yes. Yes, we're already there. Yeah, we're already there. 15 banks basically on the platform. We are and growing, right? So we expect you definitely feel the impact really soon.
Sooner.
Yeah.
Sooner. All right.
Thank you for being on the show.
Blast having you on the show. Hopefully we can do this at some point again. All right.